afternoon. I am Adeoti Joe from NigeriaGossip.info. This afternoon, we want to deliberate about the recent appointment made by the President, Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, the appointment of the SGF Chief of Staff, the Controller General of Customs, and the Controller General of Immigration. As regards this appointment, there has been mixed reaction by Nigerians about the federal character, that the appointments must be circulated around all the ethnic group in the country, in which the president has enough. So here, before we go with the interview, I'm joined in the studio with Mr. Abiola Odetomi and Mr. Kayode Adeniran. Before we go into the let me give you the breakdown of the appointment. Now, Engineer David Lawal is appointed as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, while Raji Haba Kia as the Chief of Staff to the Federation. Now, Colonel Ahmed Ibrahim Ali, retired, is appointed as the Controller General, Nigeria Customs Service, while Mr. Kuri Martin Abishi, Controller General, Nigeria Immigration Service. The appointment made by Mr. President so far has been up to 47, with the analysis being made recently by the former Minister of Aviation in person of Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode. He said the president has been biased, been tribalistic, and so many more. From the analysis, let me give you the breakdown for you to understand what we want to deliberate about. One, he said the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is from the north, Senate President from the north, Speaker from the north, Chief Justice of the Federation from the north, President to the Court of Appeal from the north, Chief Justice to the Federal High Court from the north, Secretary to the Federal Government from the north, and a lot of them like that. So now I would like Mr. Odetomi Abiola to tell us his view as regards this appointment.
Well, once again, I say thank you very much for having personally me, but I can say on behalf of my brother right here as well. Now, if we must look at it, the Constitution, in fact, the delay by the president of the appointment of ministers and members of his cabinet is a travesty and perversion of the Constitution. The Constitution provides that the president would make appointments, constitute a cabinet for the government, for the running of the government, and would deliberate with them on regular basis. Now, if we must look at it, Nigeria is a country that is so very sensitive. Before, we were talking about the insurgency. We talked about it's a very sensitive country at this point in time. Nigeria elected President Buhari because of a quagmire we could see. We realized we're in a dire situation. We needed like a savior. Now, from all ethnic groups, the president was elected. At least the results of the election actually reflected that. Now he is appointing northerners. What is the coloration? What is that body language? There are agitations in the northeast saying the president does not belong. Even that is immoral torpedo on his promise.
Thank you, Mr. Abiola. Thank you very
He
much.
said it belongs to everybody and it belongs to nobody. Now he's showing it belongs to a certain number of people.
Thank you. Mr. Kayode Adeniran, please can you tell us your view about this?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Joel. Well, as you can see, my brother here is a scribe and is obviously a Pharisee. But I am I am not a Pharisee. I do not know so much about the law. But I owe it to myself to voice out my opinion concerning the recent appointment. Well, personally, I believe what one very wise man, his name is Floyd Douglas. He said, "You don't get harmony when everybody sings the same note." You understand? And there is a popular saying that when you do the same thing at the same time and you expect a different result, then it probably means that person is a foolish person. I understand, I perfectly understand what he's trying to say, and it's perfectly right. But I want to be a little bit diplomatic here. The previous administrations we had, they have always placed their appointments based on sentiment. What will people say about it? I'm not surprised even when the APC itself has been trying to castigate the president for making such appointments. You understand? You see, sticks and stones, they are only thrown at fruit-bearing trees. So I'm not surprised at all of these allegations against him. But what actually baffles me about the whole process and why I will not justify Mr. Buhari making such appointment. When I read the pie chart, it says like 78%, is it 78 or 75% appointment has gone to the north so far, and we have just about 25 here in the south, comprising of the southwest and southeast. Well, I would say that Mr. Buhari is not perfectly just in his appointment, because the following day after the appointment, he sounded like a man who is in penitence. He actually realized what he has done, because he was telling Nigerians that subsequent appointments will not be like that. There's an adage in Yoruba that says that if you don't travel far, you don't see a squirrel that has hunchback. You know, I permit me, let me just leave it at that. Originala Arabuke Okere. The president is the president trying to claim that the north only harbors the intelligent and those men with the most high level of integrity in Nigeria.
But sir, if I coming from there, sir, actually, are you saying now the president knows nothing about what he's doing, or what?
Well, I would rather say that the president, like I told someone earlier in the week, that the president acts like I don't want to use a language that is rude at this moment, but he seemed to take decisions before really thinking about it. You know, if it were not so, he wouldn't have been apologizing to Nigerians that subsequent appointments will not be like that.
Thank you, Mr. Kayode. Mr. Abiola, you said earlier in your words, you said Nigerians elected him because they see him as the Messiah, not the Savior.
Yes.
Now, is he no longer the Savior of Nigerians?
I do not say that. And even if we look at it, the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Austin Alege, when he was granting an interview, he said, well, if we look at it, that in the long run, we will be able to say rightly whether the president has actually imbibed the spirit of federal character or not. So that is a long run judgment. But what I'm saying is that Nigeria is a very sensitive country. You know, Nigeria is a very, very sensitive country. If you look very well at what is happening, you don't expect, in fact, by this singular act, a lot of people will lose the trust. How can you do this? And it is expected that the president should understand how sensitive Nigeria's situation is. You know, of course, a buck of his votes that actually got him elected as president came from the north. We all know that. And in his inaugural lecture, he said it belonged to nobody and it belonged to everybody.
Yeah.
Now he's showing it belongs to some sect. By this singular to my note, it is very easy it is very easy for international observers to make inference from this. The president is from the north and he's selecting or appointing northerners into his cabinet. At least yet. A lot of people by that singular act will actually.
Well, Mr. Abiola, what of if we take a look at it from this view? There is a saying that if you keep on doing same thing in a particular way, you keep on getting same results. Now, going by the previous administration, they imbibed their appointment by going to various ethnicity, bringing in people from various ethnicity to balance things. But what has been the result of it?
If we look at
right from this administration are saying they want to fight corruption. They want to fight corruption. What if that's the way the president thinks he can fight corruption?
Well, if we look at it very well, my brother here asked a question the other time that is it only in the north, or is it only the northern part of Nigeria that harbors people with integrity? You understand what I'm saying, right? It is not only in the north that you find men of integrity. Now, if we look at it, the reason according to section 14, subsection 3 of the Constitution that provides for the doctrine or principle of federal character, it is to secure. One of the reasons why federal character is important in the administration of an heterogeneous or heterogeneous society like the Nigerian state is to secure the loyalty of every ethnic group. When they know they are represented, of course, they are loyal to the government. But you just imagine a situation whereby in the composition, okay, you have, let me say you are a father, you have many children from many women, and maybe you are a polygamist, you have maybe a couple of wives, bearing a couple of children. Now, you want to give them gifts. You call the child of this woman, I have 4 things, you have 5 wives. Okay, come, I give you this. From the second woman, come, I give you this. From the third woman, come, I give you this. From the fourth woman, come, I give you this. How would the 5th woman feel? So it is about securing the loyalty of all ethnic groups. Of course, when you know you are represented, it's just like electing people into the House of Representatives. People are elected to represent certain parts of Nigeria, different parts. So it's just like that. So in the composition of the federal cabinet, who will be deliberating on policy making, every group has the right to be represented.
Thank you. Mr. Kayode, do you think the trust is no more there in Mr. President by Nigerians?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that. I would rather say that, just like my brother has said here, it's a long-run judgment.
A long-run judgment?
Yes. If going by the pace Mr. Buhari is going, he is able to curb and annihilate corruption from this country with the set of people he feels have integrity in this country, I think at the end will justify the means. You see, I want us to be very careful in throwing stones at Mr. Buhari for this recent appointment.
But sir, do you know from your recent statement, you said something. You said Nigerians are very sensitive, isn't it? Now, don't you think there will be a feeling of unbelonging
Yeah,
in the other part of the country?
in fact, this has rumored a sense of discrepancies in this country, and people are even trying to tell Buhari not to tear Nigeria apart. But the truth be told, we still have a lot of time to wait and see what he's getting at. That's the truth. We have to be careful at throwing stones at him. Let's wait till he is done with what he says he wants to do before we can judge him. You don't judge me before I die. Don't let me, there's an adage that says, let me die before you bury me, alright? Let's not bury Buhari before he dies.
But sir, do you know now? Do you know there are some things, there are some behaviors that when you do, it will portray the kind of person you are. Now, going by the election hearing system period, then there were this argument by the opposition then that the president's gonna be biased, gonna be tribalistic, but is that not manifesting now?
My brother, let me tell you.
Now, I'm asking this because of what you said. You said we shouldn't judge him.
John Maxwell made a statement. He said, "He who forgets the ultimate is a slave to the immediate." When you have a goal, even as a person, not political, when you have a goal, sometimes the journey you take to achieve your goal does not look like the end result you are expecting. There are so many things that come along the way. There are many people who distract you. There are many things that you face when you are about to achieve your goal. It is when you get to the destination that is when we know if actually what you have started with is really worth it. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not justifying Mr. Buhari, just like my brother has said. You don't tell me, I can never agree with you that only the North harbors men of integrity. We have men of integrity even in the South, in the Southwest, everywhere, even among Fulanis, among Yorubas, among Igbos. But then all the same, let's wait for him, let's give him a little breathing space. Let's see what he's trying to get at. In the Constitution, in fact, I don't know so much about the Constitution, but what I do know is that the election of the Senate, election of the House of Rep, they all have representatives from all parts of Nigeria.
Thank God about that. We have a lot of students here who can enlighten us about that. Please.
And I think
Mr. Abiola,
justice has been done to that.
Well, the Constitution has, to a large extent, incorporated sections, incorporated articles that in the policy making of the country, especially, of course, we know how heterogeneous Nigeria can be, or Nigeria is. We have the north, we have the south, we have the eastern part, we have the middle belt, we have, the Middle East. But the issue is this: we have more than that. There are different ethnic groups. Now, there was during the Jonathan administration, there was a recurrent saying that he is from the minority.
Yeah.
Those people you call minority are part of Nigerians. It is not good to call them minority. And even those people who call minority contribute majorly to the resources of this country. We get our wealth from them and we call them minority. And because of that, they don't have the right to participate in the government of the country. Of course, that is a long-run judgment. But the issue is this: to secure their loyalty, if we actually do one thing. Now, if we look at it now, the insurgency we had, or let me say the militancy we had in the Niger Delta region, was because they were neglected by the government. They didn't feel they belonged to Nigeria anymore. Because the Nigerian government, they cried. Of course, we are aware of the Kensaruwa and the 7 Ogoni activists killed by a kangaroo special tribunal, executed. We know what happened. How these people feel. How will you feel when you are neglected by your father? Buhari should belong to everybody and nobody.
I'm sorry from what he said. I just wanted to. I would like to point something out. He said they were neglected, but they were well represented. Even when the government neglected them, they had representation, even in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. I just wanted to.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Of course, there's no doubt. They had representation in the Senate and the House of Representatives. But why were they neglected?
Now, thank you. Please, we will have to go on a short break. After the short break, we will be deliberating on the recent statement by the special advisor to the president, in person of Mr. Femi Adesina. He said Buhari will balance his appointment in future. Please don't go away, join us.